Hello, welcome to Spotlight on Souris. My name is Laura Higgs, and today we have with us Darryl Jackson, who's the mayor of the Municipality of Souris, Glenwood, and he's here to talk to us today about physician recruitment and retention right here in Souris. Right, Darryl?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the show, Darryl.
Thank you.
Now, can you start by telling us and the viewers, of course, about the changing situation with the Medical Association and the Souris Hospital, of course, because they're
Right.
hand in hand.
Well, I just forget when it was, late March, early April, council was informed that Dr. Sequeira was moving on, leaving the Souris Medical Associates practice as of June 30th. So, of course, down one doctor in a busy practice and
Gosh, yes.
holiday time looming in the summer, this was an urgent matter. So our physician recruitment committee was reactivated. And I say reactivated because we've done the same sort of thing in the past when these situations have come up. The last time was 2018. So the idea was to recruit at least one, if not even two doctors to complement our current staff for the facilities in Souris and Hartney.
Right, because we don't just it's just Souris and it's only so many people. There's people who travel from around our community, from Hartney, from the smaller communities around that we facilitate, right? In the medical
Absolutely.
profession.
I don't know what they would consider their catchment area, but on any given day in that office, you can see people from Pipestone, as you say, Hartney, Elgin, Minto, Brandon even.
And even
sometimes.
Brandon. Yeah, I know two people who lived out here, doctored out here, and moved to Brandon for different reasons, family reasons, whatever, but they still doctor out here.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's pretty important. So it's, one doctor for a small town, you should be fine, isn't a good answer,
Doesn't
isn't
work
it?
anymore. People want their time off, and they deserve their time off for their
Absolutely.
well-being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so how many's on your committee and what does that look like?
Okay, we have a 7-person committee, plus Dr. Cram and Dr. Sopel as advisors. And then we've got 2 ladies from Prairie Mountain Health who are available to provide support from time to time, too.
Okay.
And, just for interest's sake, the recruitment committee consists of Nicole Barkley, who's the manager of the Souris Health Unit, Lori Davison from PharmaSave,
Okay.
Darcy Dunna, who is a retired home care coordinator for the Souris area.
Correct.
Echo Finley, our economic development officer. Myself, Roxy Kowalchuk, who's the manager of the Medical Associates Clinic, and Ruth Mealy, who's the Reeve of Grassland, which is our neighboring municipality and partner in all this.
South, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's quite a good group.
I think we've got a well-rounded group. We cover lots of bases with that group of people, so.
Yeah, different interests, certainly, and different areas, but all caring about the medical profession and making sure our community's taken care of.
Absolutely. In some way, shape, or form, they're involved in medicine one way or the other. Yeah.
Okay, so then can you tell us what has been accomplished so far then?
Oh, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. First meeting was a bit of a helter-skelter meeting until we really kind of got hands-on grip on what we were doing. But an action plan was created.
Okay.
5 subcommittees were developed to work on areas such as an updated recruitment package, advertising and research on potential physicians, researching potential costs, for instance, temporary housing expenses or relocation expenses.
Right, because we have to make it attractive for people to come, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
and then fundraising, of course. A letter went out to businesses and organizations in the Souris, Elgin, Hartney area in April, appealing for financial help. Since then, we have met with various focus groups for individuals, Chamber of Commerce, the Crescent Manor Tenants Association, and most recently the Murray Building residents, to get the word out, explain what the committee is doing and how people can help. And our goal is $20,000 so far.
To raise $20,000,
Yes.
to have that available as an attraction for?
Yeah, for those types of expenses
Yeah.
particularly, and.
And so those people coming saying, okay, they're going to pay for my lodging until I get established. They're going to help with this, they're going to help with that, so.
Yes, if a doctor was to come before their family could resettle, we might have to put them up in a hotel or
Okay.
somebody's home, whatever
Sure.
the situation
Sure.
might be. So those kinds of expenses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, but wow, what a big job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how successful have you been up to this date?
Well, on the fundraising side, we have received just over $10,000.
Oh, good.
We're
Halfway there.
We're 50%
Yeah.
towards our goal, so
Okay.
we're very grateful for that. And on the recruitment side, I've got some pretty good news that's just come together the last few weeks. Prairie Mountain Health have hired a nurse practitioner to start in Souris in early August, and I don't think that's next week after the long weekend. I think it'll be the following week.
Okay.
And she'll probably take a couple of weeks to get acclimatized to right here in Souris, the hospital and personal care home here, without going to the clinic. She may not have any office hours
Right,
to
okay.
begin with.
Sure.
She's fully capable of assuming a portion of the patient load at the clinic, as well as doing rounds at the hospital and personal care home, and that means down at Hartney as well. She cannot, however, provide emergency services. So this doesn't alleviate our on-call situation.
Right, we still need doctors.
Right.
Yes.
Her training, like she's, and this is the same with all nurse practitioners, they have their Bachelor of Nursing, and then they go get further training to become nurse practitioners. But it doesn't include everything that a medical doctor would train for as far as the emergency medicine is
Right.
concerned.
So if I'm not mistaken, they do a pre-visit or a triaging of the patients before they have to worry about calling the doctor in. And sometimes, can she prescribe something to that person, or does she have to?
Yes,
Okay.
they can do prescribing. It's just if at the emergency site at the hospital, that she couldn't do that. Like another doctor would have to be in town that could be called, as
Okay.
you're suggesting.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't help the on-call situation. She
Right.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
on call.
Well, she would be capable of seeing certain patients, but she couldn't be the primary, so there
Right.
would have to be, she would have to help whoever's on call, I would imagine, then,
Yeah,
if
and
that's the way
there's
they
always
worked it.
There's always a nurse that can handle the triage, or generally speaking, there's a nurse that can handle the triage part of it. And
The initial
there's-
triage, yeah.
There's certain things they can't do as well,
Yeah.
because they're not doctors, so similar type
Wow.
of thing.
Yeah. Wow,
And good news number 2
Okay.
is that we learned last week that a physician has agreed to relocate to Souris from Portage La Prairie. And this
Good.
is very good news, although she may not be starting until December 1st. She's got some issues to deal with, commitments to her current practice and so on, and then getting moved.
And then a move,
and-
yes.
And move over. So
Okay.
probably December 1st, but it certainly seems like we've accomplished what we at least set out to do in the first stage.
okay, that's good news. Is she willing to work full-time, though, or is she wanting?
As far as I know, she'd be a
Okay.
full-time partner with
Okay.
Dr. Sopel and Dr. Cram.
Okay.
But they
Okay.
haven't led me to believe anything else.
That being said, Dr. Cram is full-time. This new person, if they are taking full-time, that's great, but Dr. Sopel isn't necessarily full-time here, is she?
No, she's considered a .8
Okay.
for the Souris Hartney facilities. She goes one day a week to Sioux Valley and runs a clinic there.
Right.
And the nurse practitioner will be going with her that day.
Okay,
And then Dr. Sopel, who in some people's eyes is a rock star because of what all she does, she works a week every 8 to 10 weeks at Brandon General, either in emergency or on a ward. I'm not sure as
Yeah.
a hospitalist, but she's
Probably.
quite involved lady.
oh, yes, she
Yeah.
is, and so she keeps up the experience there with the higher risk cases and stuff,
Right.
and then brings that wisdom
Yes,
to us as an
absolutely.
emergency doctor. But then if you have Dr. Cram, Dr. Sopel, and then this third doctor, you still have a doctor working, every couple of weekends there, so we're still looking maybe for a fourth person.
We
right?
absolutely are still looking for the fourth doctor.
Okay.
We're not stopping by any means just because we've got a nurse practitioner and a third doctor coming.
Right.
We are hosting a luncheon in Brandon this Friday, actually,
Okay.
with 8 medical students who are
Okay.
on their rural rotation. And I can't tell you what year they're at in their training, but we thought this was a perfect chance to give them the heads up about what a wonderful place Souris is, and we'll fill them full of all the good things we have to offer.
Absolutely.
And what a great place it would be to set up a practice once they graduate. So,
Good.
you know, it's just gonna be an
Good.
hour visit. 3 or 4 of us are going in there, but we're hoping we can make some hay out of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, and have these people at least be somewhat attracted, or at least look at Souris as an option for rural practice.
Absolutely.
Because most of those doctors that are finishing up their residency like to have some kind of insight and to be able to come and work in a rural to understand what it's like to be out here.
Oh, yes.
Makes them better physicians anywhere.
It's much different than a city practice.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is, the independence they need to have
Yeah.
to continue to work out here.
That's right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And they see many different facets of medicine, but maybe not so much of any one particular type
That's right.
on any given day.
And we do send, it's unfortunate because we are a hospital that had ability to deliver babies and do little surgeries and procedures and stuff like that, and those are not happening anymore in Souris.
No,
So we send a lot of stuff out.
yes,
So you have to work independent. You have to know when to send out and when to manage.
that's right.
So it's very important for those doctors to learn that before they go work in the big city and have every discipline there available to you.
Right.
So, yeah.
So our recruitment committee is not disbanding. We're going to carry on.
Good.
One of our committee members has touched base with, I'm going to say 5, if not 6, fairly local young people who have got their medical degree and are busy practicing elsewhere, just to see what their thought might be on relocating back to their home area. And, you know, we've got some interesting comments back. Some are committed to where they are for 2 or 3 years by contract.
Sure.
Some are a little more open, and some are specialists. They're probably not going to come back if they've specialized.
True.
But, you know, 2 or 3 years down the road, we might be in the same position again. So we will have those contacts already made, and maybe would have put the idea in somebody's head. You know, they might be looking again now, or if they notice an ad that we put out, well, maybe I should
Great.
contact them.
Great. Your committee's been working very hard, and you're not short-sighted by any stretch of the imagination. You are looking for a long-term ability to be able to make sure that we are taken care of medically here in our community.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
we still encourage people, if they would like to make a donation to the fund, we're still wanting to get to that 20,000. People can leave a check or mail a check, either one, to the
Right.
Municipality of Souris Glenwood. And on the memo line, just write Physician Recruitment Committee. You'll get a tax receipt for that, so it's not the full cost. You'll get some of that you can use at income
Sure.
tax time.
Sure,
And
great.
any little bit would help. Anything over $20 would give you a tax receipt, so any and all add up to something big. So
Sure.
we appreciate any help we can get at all.
Well, that's great. That is great. I appreciate, I can't believe you guys have 5 subcommittees from the committee that you named off. There must
Yeah,
be-
they've all, well, some of them have worked pretty much on their own. Others, like myself, I've worked with Darcy Dunna quite a bit on the meeting, these focus groups and so on. But 2 of those ladies have worked pretty much on their own. One researching where to even start looking for doctors,
Right,
et cetera.
right.
And the other one made all these cold contacts. She talked to parents and then finally got a hold of phone numbers for these young people that are
Wow.
doctors out in the field. And
Yeah.
you never know if they're from Dunray or Hartney or Delow, maybe they'd like to come back
Yeah.
and practice almost in their hometown.
Yeah,
Who knows?
that's right. That's right. We have had people return to our hometown, look at our pharmacist here in town,
Yes, Matt.
Matt, and our chiropractor as well, who have come back, who
Absolutely.
are very smart individuals,
Yeah,
both of
I'm
them.
glad to see them both here.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, very smart.
Yeah.
So actually, the rural people, we do make a bunch of smart people, don't we?
We do,
We have 'em.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And, you know, I could just say we're also working on the paramedic situation because it's not great either. Number-wise, there just is so many holes and people having to work double shifts
Yeah.
and it's stressful, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah,
we are, not this particular committee, but I am on another committee that's working on
to help with that.
trying to set up some training in Brandon rather than having to go to Winnipeg to be trained as a
Sure,
paramedic.
sure, and hopefully some locals, because some of our mainstream EMS here in town are local people,
Absolutely.
you know, who have decided to stay in our community
Yep.
and do their job.
And we probably think a good idea in the short term would be go to a school and talk to the grade 12 classes. Say, look if you're interested in staying in your hometown and you're looking for a career medically related, at least think about paramedicine because, you know, a couple of years training and you could be on the job working.
Absolutely.
And in your hometown.
Yeah, yeah, which is quite a bit easier for a lot of people to be in their own hometown, not only when they're training, but when they're finished their training and moving forward.
That's right.
Yeah, great. That's a good thing for young people to know that that's available to them.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, I think we covered everything, Darryl.
Yep.
I hope that people are, you know, willing to not only donate, come to the town and get a tax receipt. That's certainly fair.
Yep.
But that you are able to, as a committee, I know you guys are very committed and devoted, and we appreciate that, but that we can find people who will come and be a part of our community for a lifetime.
That's our hope for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Good.
You bet.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us here at Spotlight on Souris. My name is Laura Higgs. I hope you have a great day.